Hey guys, it's takasta here again. Welcome to another video review. So today I'll be doing a review of the Razer Krait 2013 edition, following my quick unboxing 2 weeks ago. So as you can see, I'm trying to do something new with my video reviews. I got a camera recently. I'm shooting at 720p or trying to shoot in HD. Just to improve the quality of my videos, so I hope you guys enjoy that. So the Krait, in a nutshell, it's a smaller version of the Razer Taipan, however employs the sensor of the Razer Death Adder 2013 edition, so it's the Avago S3988. So it's a very, very powerful sensor in quite a small mouse. However, is this small mouse really suitable for everyone? Well, let's find out. First moving on to specifications. So it employs a 6400 DPI 4G optical sensor, is the Avago S3988. Ambidextrous form factor, like the Taipan, 3 programmable buttons, 1000 Hz polling rate, up to 200 inches per second, 50 grams acceleration, 7 feet of rubber cable, so not braided cable. It's a very light mouse, weighs in at about 78 to 80 grams. 78 to 80 grams. Size is 177 millimeters by 55 millimeters by 36 millimeters, and employs, because it's part of the new line, the Razer mice employs Synapse 2.0 software, which I'll get to in a bit. So moving on to the weight and the shape, as I said before, it's a fairly light mouse. Some people, it's akin to that of the Kinzu V2. The Kinzu V2 is 78 to 80 grams as well. Even though in weight they're exactly the same, the Krait and the Kinzu V2. However, it feels like the Krait feels lighter. Maybe there's a placebo effect because of the edges being sharper and the Kinzu being having a rounder base. But however, supposedly it's quite a very light mouse, so it's not like the IO 1.1 or even the IO 3 or just bigger mice in general. The Krait 2013 edition has a very thin body with a very thin base. The edges are relatively sharp, and because it's ambidextrous, the side buttons on both sides are fairly indented. So as compared to the Kinzu V2, they're like slightly indented. On the Krait, it's quite a bit indented. For comparison, my hand is 19 centimeters from the tip of my middle finger to the bottom of my the base of my wrist. Just trying to fingertip or claw gripping this mouse really isn't that comfortable. Maybe because the base isn't wide enough, it doesn't fit into the bottom of my palm as comfortable. Just people with a moderate sized hand probably would not find this comfortable. Unless you have like a fairly small hand, you might find this suitable for you. But personally, I think the discomfort really bugs me, and I personally feel like, for example, the IO 1.1 is much more convenient and much more comfortable. Moving on to the overall build quality. In general, the lower end Krait does feel like, I feel like it's made of cheaper plastic, unlike the Taipan or even the Death Adder. Just the body and surface, once you pick it up, you realize that the surface is not made of like very, very good plastic. It doesn't seem that durable. I mean, given that Razer products don't really last that long anyways, but just brand new, the Krait does not seem like it's made of very, very good plastic. The only way I can describe it is it being cheap. Next, with the Krait, with the Taipan and the Death Adder, they added rubber side buttons to the sides for supposedly better grip. However, in the Krait, some people have said this is a very, very good addition. However, on the Krait, the side buttons actually aren't side grips aren't side grips at all. They are fairly slippery, very slippery actually, and just as slippery as and it feels just as cheap as the plastic around it and through the body. So admittedly, this is the essential line of Razer, but I did expect a little bit more from Razer's build quality, overall build quality. The cable isn't braided. I mean, there's nothing much to do with that, and it's just a very, very simple mouse in general. Also, with the scroll wheel, it feels like they slapped like a elastic band type of rubber onto the scroll wheel, and it just really does not feel that comfortable. I really don't like that. Next, on to the click and the scroll wheel. So mouse 1, mouse 2, and the scroll wheel click. This is a very simple 3-button click. The mouse 1 and mouse 2, they feel moderately hard to click. They're not extremely hard, but they're definitely not extremely light. Definitely not like the Diamondback or the Copperhead or the Krait even. It takes slightly bit of force. So in comparison, maybe the Kinzu V2 is a very similar hardness in terms of its click. However, the mouse 3 button is very, very hard to click. It takes a good amount of force to press down, and it just I really dislike that. I guess maybe it's more suitable. Maybe it's more suited for hard clickers. In terms of the scrolling the scroll wheel, it's relatively smooth with slight feedback and a slight stoppage at every juncture. Compared to the Kinzu V2 scroll, it stops at every juncture slightly more, whereas Kinzu V2 is very, very smooth at every juncture. the Krait stops at every junction. Well, it's not exactly like the IO 1.1 or IE 3.0 scroll. However, it's like slopped slightly, and personally, it's not one of my favorite scroll wheels, but I guess it'll do the job. Next, moving on to the software. As you guys know, Razer has moved its drivers systems in all of their mice to the cloud. What this means is your profile will be saved on the internet, allowing you to have the exact same settings on any given computer, provided that you install the Razer drivers. However, my experience with the Razer Synapse 2.0 is quite limited. Some claim that it's a big inconvenience. Some says it doesn't sync properly. Well, I may not be in the best position to comment how good it is, but here's my take. Even though you can set, let's say, the firmware or the drivers or the settings on one computer, if you bring it onto another computer, it actually does save from my personal experience. Let's say, for example, on my Mac, I set it on 400 DPI, 125 Hertz. I bring it onto another Windows computer. I did an Jitter Test, and it does read the same. Even though it's not advertised as having an onboard memory, but it seems like it does save the settings that you have. However, some people have been complaining that maybe they just reset, if you plug into another computer, it resets the factory settings. I can't confirm this with the Death Adder, but with the Krait, indeed, it does save the settings. The software itself, it's not as advanced as the Death Adder 2013-ish or the Taipan. The DPI changes allows increments of 100, from minimum 100 to a maximum of 6,400. Polling rates at 125, 500, and 1,000 Hz can be chosen, and acceleration can be adjusted from 0 to 10. And it's just very, very simple. It doesn't have like the prediction features or the lift-off distance features as the Death Adder does, but I guess the software will really do a job for such an essential mouse. Moving on to the sensor. I think I've bashed on the Krait in many ways. Its shape being uncomfortable and the plastic or the build quality not being that great. However, one thing that Krait 2013 edition does compensate for is that it uses the S3988 sensor seen in that of the Death Adder 2013. I had advantage of just reading up on some users' commentaries and some tests that people have done of the S3988, and definitely in general is one of the better sensor technologies out there on the market at the moment. In such a small form factor, at 6,400 are all DPI settings from 100, 1,800, 3,200, 6,400. It tracks extremely smooth with very little prediction, jitter, and almost little to none acceleration. This leads me to believe that the Avago S3988 probably uses a native 6,400 DPI sensor, and they kind of just interpolate it down to match the other DPI settings. So this, in fact, is a very, very good thing. In terms of its maximum control speed, I did this test on the Pure Track Talon, and I really swept it as hard as I could on the Inetis tests. And you can see from these pictures here that they go up to about 4 meters per second, or 4.4, 4.3 meters per second. So that's actually pretty impressive. I don't think in any FPS game you'll probably swipe it that quickly. In any event, usually you probably swipe it at like 1 meter per second or 1.5 meter per second max anyways. So in general, the sensor is a very, very good one, probably one of the best on the market at the moment. In conclusion, the Krait is in fact a rebranded Taipan. It's very different from the first generation Krait that when they first released it, so it lost a lot of its unique form factor from the first one. However, at the moment the price is $57 because it's not available to all markets worldwide. It's only available in like China, Korea, or some Southeast Asian markets, and Brazil apparently. But there you can find them for $57 US shipped on eBay, which is compared to the $69.99 price range of a Death Adder. I don't think it's that worth it. The size is smaller, even though it's a Taipan form factor, even with a very, very good sensor. The build quality isn't that great, and the size is just too small to be comfortable in any moderately sized hand. Fair to say, I am actually slightly disappointed with the Krait 2013 edition, but here's my honest review of the mouse. So hope you guys enjoyed that video review. Make sure you subscribe, like iTechTech on Facebook, and make sure to visit iTechTech's eBay store for all your mouse feet needs and gaming accessory needs. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.